All right. Welcome to the jungle, everyone. I'm Kyle Phelps, and I don't even know how to separate the middle of the NFL right now. Seriously, you've got the AFC, which is clearly separated between good teams and bad teams right now, and the NFC, which is just an unpredictable clusterfuck. Um, I know I'm live right now, by the way. I know a lot of people are going to be confused by this format right now. Just as I said during the last stream, bear with me with this week. These last 2 weeks have been crazy because my job kind of threw me for a loop. But we're trying to get the power rankings out, and this is the only way I'm going to get them out in any sort of remotely reasonable amount of time. Because I haven't even done any of the recordings yet, much less started the editing process. So this is how we're getting the NFL power rankings out. As I say them, you guys tell me what your power rankings are, and then next week, me and Majestic YT are actually going to go live and compare power rankings again. Actually, no, he doesn't want to go live. He just wants to. He wants to do a pre-recording. Either way, watch me and Majestic YT on the power rankings next week. Anyway, before we get into break down the power rankings and explaining exactly what I mean by all that, I just like to ask that you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. Since we're live, leave a comment in the chat, and I'll put you up on the screen if you come up before anything like that. There's also going to be kind of a wonky format because the StreamYard overlays doesn't allow me to position the overlays in any really good position. So we're going to have to work with probably me leaning around and be talking like this the whole time but it's just for this week, guys. Next week, I'm going to have the full edited video up and everything like that. I just wanted to get them out and established whether anybody actually watches the video or not. All right. But we should be back to our regularly scheduled programming next week. So all of you know how the power rankings work at this point. We've got 6 tiers that each team falls into. Yes, that's me, Matthew. What's up? We got 6 tiers that each of the teams fall into. But we're only going to be talking about the top 3 tiers, and we're really going to focus on the top 14 teams because those are just the number of playoff spots that exist, and therefore those are the teams that are really interesting, and those are the teams that matter. Just to touch on a few really quick, you've got the Colts, who just obliterated the Patriots. Actually, if I go ahead and share my screen up here. You've got the Colts, who obliterated the Patriots, so they're down all the way near the bottom right now. They benched Matt Ryan. Now they've fired their head coach. They hired Jeff Saturday. If it weren't for the fact that the Steelers were on bye, I might have put the Colts at number 32 this week. Then there's the Packers, who I'm finally admitting are a bad football team. That's 5 losses in a row, 2 of which have come to former tank time teams. So, yeah, it's pretty bad. And then the Rams. What's up with them, man? I don't even see them as a playoff team anymore after that embarrassing loss to the Buccaneers. But that's all the time we're going to spend on those 3 categories, right? We're going to dive deeper, starting with the playoff hopefuls. So let me go ahead and bring that up here real quick. And as you see, it kind of gets in front of my face a little bit. Here, now you can see both. So we got the playoff hopefuls here, right? I'm going to dive a little bit deeper. We're starting, we got the Chargers and Bucks here, neither of whom I think are really worth much of a mention just yet. But, keep it up, and you'll make it into the top 14 before too long, both of you. At number 14, I've got the Tennessee Titans. And quite frankly, I don't know if losing to the Chiefs by 3 should warrant a 6-spot fall in the power rankings like I gave them. But there was just so much movement in this part of the power rankings this week and so little movement in the top 2 categories, I really didn't have much of a choice. I saw Malik Willis make this amazing throw to Austin Hooper during the game, and then he barely did much of anything else. Once he develops some consistency, the Titans could be scary, but not just yet. Number 13. This one's for you, Matthew. Because number 13, it's the New England Patriots, who got Frank Reich fired. I'm still skeptical about Mac Jones, but at least for this week, Patriots fans have to be feeling themselves. They got to be like, hey, this team is looking pretty good, man. Number 12, we got the Miami Dolphins. All right. And this defense, it was atrocious against the Bears. But Tua remains an absolute revelation. Just absolutely insane. Number 11, we got my Cincinnati Bengals. The Panthers are an awful football team right now. I know that. Everybody knows that. But you have to play who's on your schedule. The Bengals did what you're supposed to do against bad football teams, and they absolutely blew them out of the water. Like that's that when you play a terrible football team, the expectation, if you're a good football team, is that you're going to beat them the hell up, and they did that. So now they're back at 500. Let's see if they can keep that same energy against the worst team in football next week, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They get a bye this week, and hopefully a bunch of players are going to be coming back. So we'll see, but hopefully, from my perspective, they don't stay down for too long. So I'm going to take that off real quick. So those are my playoff hopefuls. Or no, those are the I'm sorry, I'll turn it. It is the playoff hopeful. That's my playoff hopefuls category. So that's where we're at. Let's see. Matthew's been commenting. Patriots going 13-4. I don't know about that. I made them number 13. So I think they might make the playoffs. Honestly, Bailey Zappi, let's go. Yeah, Matthew. The reason I'm going live is because I just don't have time to produce a video this week. So I'm recording the power rankings live just because I really wanted to get them out today, but I don't have time to do the whole editing process and everything like that. So I'm literally just going live doing my power rankings. I'm only going to be around for like this one's going to be like 15 minutes. Once I'm done with the power rankings, I'm done. Next week is going to be a lot better because my job situation won't be weird, but this week it's been crazy, which is why the content for me has been so sporadic. It's a big reason why I haven't been doing a lot of streams the last couple of weeks. But either way, we'll get there. Am I going to be live Sunday? I'll definitely be live Sunday for at least one game. I might be live for the Sunday night football game. I haven't quite decided that one yet, but I'll definitely be live at least for a 1 p.m. game. I'll be covering one of them. I actually don't even know what the NFL schedule is like this week off the top of my head. Let me bring that up real quick and see if I can figure out which game I want to cover. Matthew says, bet, homie. Let's go. All right. So let's see. Week 10. You got the Seahawks and Buccaneers playing 9:30 in the morning. That one will be interesting. That one's going to be in Germany. Who knows, man? I might go live for the 9:30 game, honestly. Just because, doing early games is a little bit easier for me. I might go live for that one. I don't know how many people are going to be streaming, 9:30 in the morning. So, maybe that'll be a good spot for me. And at 1 p.m., you got Vikings, Bills, Lions, Bears, Broncos, Titans, Jaguars, Chiefs, Browns, Dolphins, Texans, Giants, Saints, Steelers. So, I probably the Browns game, Browns, Dolphins. I would imagine that would be the one that works with my channel the best. Because honestly, none of these games are I'm expecting to be really, really fantastic, great games. So it's not like, we got like a Chiefs Bills game to cover or something like that. And I think probably the most likely one I'm going to cover on Sunday is Browns Dolphins. And then the 405 games are not interesting at all. Maybe Packers Cowboys, but even then, just to see like Tom Grossi and Scooter Magruder's reactions to them. Can I do that emoji? I don't know how to do that emoji. I could maybe like copy and paste it, but I can't do that on StreamYard, I don't think. Matthew says he ain't waking up at 8, waking up at noon, laughing right now. Okay. I did that. I did that when I was younger. I don't do that anymore. But anyway, let me get back to these power rankings because that's the whole reason I'm here, and I'm really not trying to spend an hour on all this, right? So we're going to move along to the contenders category, and let me move back down here so you can get the contenders up. So we got the contenders. We're starting off Number 10, the contenders. You have the San Francisco 49ers. They enjoyed a bye week that involved the Rams pretty much taking themselves completely out of contention for the division this week. So I'd say things went pretty well for them. Number 9, we got the New York Jets. I'm extremely conflicted on them. Zach Wilson's terrible, like just awful. Zach Wilson, if that's your game plan, I don't really think that the Jets are really fully going anywhere. But they beat the best team in football this week, and they're 6-3. So I don't know. I don't know. You tell me what to think about this team. That they're probably a top 10 team. I don't know if they necessarily go too far in the playoffs with Zach Wilson as their starting quarterback. Number 8, you got the Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith, speaking of quarterbacks, is running away with the Comeback Player of the Year award at this point. Do we dare start talking about MVP at this point? Maybe, maybe not. But, I mean, I think he's got a case. I think, it might be something that people are talking about. He's definitely Comeback Player of the Year. Number 7, I got the Baltimore Ravens. They finally overcame the Raven killer, Andy Dalton. But it was also on prime time. So, I mean, like one of those two things had to give. Luckily, like I said, they got him in prime time. But seriously, with a game lead and a tiebreaker over the Bengals, it's starting to get harder and harder to see anything other than the Baltimore Ravens ending this year as the 2022 AFC North champions right now. Maybe the Bengals can beat them in the playoffs, but as far as like getting ahead for the division, the way both teams are playing right now, I don't necessarily see the Ravens losing 2 more games than the Bengals right now. Finally, at number 6, it's the Dallas Cowboys, who were on bye, so they're going to stay put. Let's see what's going on here. Did you miss Miami? That's a good question. You did miss Miami. Yeah, I had them in the playoff hopefuls. I was basically just saying, 2 was really good. They're in the playoff hopefuls. They're right behind the Bengals at number 12. That's where I got them. See about those Jets. They're trash now. They're not trash, though. Like, Zach Wilson's trash, but they're not trash. What's up? I'd say the Jets' defense carrying them. Their offense is horrendous. Yeah. Wow, this thing is just in my way. Golly. The Jets' defense is carrying their offense is horrendous. I mean, that's the thing. Their defense is so good that it's winning them football games. Their offense, I don't know if their offense is horrendous. Their quarterback is horrendous. That's the main thing. But, their running game is pretty good. Like James Robinson left right off where Breece Hall was. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Matthew says the Seahawks are good. It's crazy, but they are. Bengals are trash. It didn't look like trash against the Panthers. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I know it's the Panthers, but you got to play who's on your schedule, All right. So that, yeah. So those are all. Did we get through all the contenders? We got Ravens, Cowboys. Yeah. So we got through all the contenders. So we're gonna finish up here. We got the Super Bowl caliber teams. Final category: New York Giants are number 5. Because they were on bye, so they're going to stay in their spot. I don't move teams when they're on bye because, I mean, unless something catastrophic or something incredibly awesome happens. There was one time I remember I remember this because I'm a Bengals fan, but there was one time specifically I remember moving the Bengals up because every other team in the AFC North lost, and they made some sort of big bye week addition or something like that. But outside of something like that happen, I'm not going to move a team up or down during the bye week. I mean, maybe a team gets a major injury revelation during the bye week, but aside from that, teams like the Giants, they were on bye this week. They're staying put. Number 4, I got the Minnesota Vikings. I kept them in place because they barely beat the Commanders. But both the teams that were behind them were on bye, so I can't really move them down. I definitely didn't feel good about what I saw out of the Vikings this week. But I'm not going to move them down 3 spots for losing, right? So number 3, for the first time this year, I got the Buffalo Bills no longer in the number 1 spot. Losing to the Jets is the main reason for that. But keep an eye on Josh Allen. because Josh Allen's being evaluated for a UCL injury, and if something happens to him, well, let's just say I don't believe in Case Keenum keeping them as the most dangerous team in football, right? Number 2, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. They struggled a little bit against the Texans, but it's obviously better than losing, so I'll give them some credit, especially with the Bills dropping. I know a lot of people, it's like it's the trendy thing to do right now to make the Eagles number 1 because, they're undefeated and, the Bills finally got out of the way. I just, the the way they played against the Texans didn't really convince me of a whole lot. And I still moved them up, I still moved them up for winning. It's just it was against the Texans and it wasn't a fantastic win, So that was pretty much my perspective on that. But as you probably guessed at this point, or as you probably figured out at this point, because you see everything, we've got a new number 1 team this week, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm just as shocked as all you are. Well, at least as far as like the Bills moving down. But, I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs, they didn't exactly decisively beat the Tennessee Titans. But, the Eagles, like I said, struggled a little bit against the Texans. And the Titans are a good football team. The Titans are a potential contender in the AFC, unlike, the Titans are a potential contender in the AFC, unlike the Texans. So I think the fact that the Chiefs took them down, even though it was kind of ugly at points, I think that was a really good thing. So can they keep it up? I don't know. But for right now, I think the Chiefs look pretty near unstoppable. So I'm going to go back to the comments one more time, then we're going to head out of here. So Josh Hillard says, as a Vikings fan, I'm just worried about how close the games have been. Yeah, that's honestly why I've been like I say it every week in my power rankings. If you watch, like the Vikings are in the top 5. You can't argue with them being in the top 5. But like, come on now. The stupid seal says Vikings Giant Super Bowl caliber. That's a hot take, same as Minnesota. That's fair. But like don't forget that these categories are literally just they're tiers that I've named, right? Like there's always going to be 5 teams in the Super Bowl caliber thing. It's like it's like you got to have 2 teams for the 2 teams that will compete in the Super Bowl. You got to have 2 teams for the 2 teams that are going to be in the AFC and NFC championship, and then 1 extra just to make everything look even and nice. But there's always going to be 5 teams in the Super Bowl caliber list, and the Giants are a top 5 team right now. I mean, like, are they going to stay there forever? I don't know. I think the Eagles are a lot more sustainable than the Giants, but I mean, you got to give them credit for winning so much, just like with the Vikings. Like, they're there. Like who else are you going to put there? Honestly, not the Bengals, not the Ravens, not the Cowboys. Josh Hillard says, don't think they'd put the Super Bowl as a noon game for the Vikings. that would be hilarious to watch. Like Kirk Cousins go out, like the Vikings actually make the Super Bowl. Kirk Cousins goes out there and he has like a Tony Eason level game, like just like this horrible Super Bowl performance, and it's just like it's proof that Kirk Cousins cannot play in prime time. He's like Andy Dalton, but well, no, Kirk Cousins is Andy Dalton. He's the same thing. Kirk Cousins is Andy Dalton. They are the same player, except Kirk Cousins is a little bit more charismatic. The stupid seal. None of the top four really impressed me. None of them had a great performance, which only makes my case this season is on drugs even stronger. I mean, the Eagles impressed me, quite frankly. Like, I mean, I kind of want to put the Eagles number 1, but teams keep getting in their way. Like, I mean, the Chiefs have made just as much of a statement as the Eagles have this year. The Eagles are a really well-designed football team. Like, I mean, that running game and the way Jalen Hurts is playing, like, I kind of wonder, is this for real? But, I mean, how much more do they really need to prove to be for real? I don't know. So, like, the Eagles might end up number 1 at some point, but I don't know. I believe in them. And then the Bills, like, we'll see. Josh Allen is the main factor here. Like, if Josh Allen is hurt and there's a problem there, then the Bills don't really impress me anymore. But if Josh Allen comes back, man, Bills are damn good. And then who's my other my other top 4 team, was it the Vikings? I think it was the Vikings. And yeah, they don't impress me. But like again, who else are you gonna put there? Like you got to put somebody in the top 4, and I guess the Vikings are there by default. If it was a noon game, Kirk would be unstoppable. Yeah. Matthew says, "Gotta eat." I think the Packers can win on Thursday Night Football against Tennessee. Yes and no. Like I think I think the Packers have a good enough defense to make that a competitive game. But their offense has been so horrendous. And the Titans have a pretty good defense, man. So like, do I think they can win on Thursday Night Football against the Titans? I do. I think they can win. I wouldn't be shocked if the Packers pull it off. But I wouldn't I wouldn't bet on it, right? Me and Thomas have yet to do our predictions this week on the Battle of Ohio podcast, so I'm not revealing my pick fully yet. But I'll tell you right now, I don't entirely believe that they've got it in them to win that game. But they might, and I might end up picking them. I'm not sure yet. I will figure that one out later. But anyway, guys, like I said, I really only wanted to come on and get these power rankings out because I haven't been able to like actually sit down and find some time to record. My job, just full disclosure, my job put me in like some training this week, which they didn't explain, required me to like, it basically required a lot more time out of me than I signed up for when doing this job. And it's going to be fine. Like after the training's over after Friday, and I'm not going to have to do that anymore. But this week, obviously, it caused quite a few problems. But like I said, we're back to our regular scheduled programming next week, and I'm actually like, tomorrow's my last day in the training, and then Friday I'm totally off. So anything that I need to do to prepare for the weekend will be, totally back to normal. We'll be back to our regular scheduled programming and everything. But one more from the Stupid Seal here. That Volcano the Sweat. I didn't even recognize. I thought you were one of the other people earlier. I didn't even recognize that you're someone different. So welcome to the channel, human being who has his very long name put in twice. Volcano the Sweat. I bet you're hoping that the Packers cannot beat the Titans. At the moment, from the Stupid Seal, at the moment, I think the only game the Packers can win for the rest of the season is Chicago. Because no matter how bad Aaron Rodgers is, he'll always find a way to beat the Bears. You know what, the Stupid Seal? I am actually, I pray with everything in me. Let's see, what's the rest of the Packers schedule look like? Just because, like, I love chaos and I love seeing, like, perpetually great teams get, like, knocked back down to earth. And I don't have anything against Packers fans necessarily. It's just like, they've been having it good for way too long. Like it's good to see them kind of like, get put back in their place a little bit. So I would love to see the Packers go on like a 3-game win streak here and really kind of start building that hope back up. And then boom, Bears, smack them. That would be funny. That would just be straight up comedy. I'm not necessarily rooting against the Packers in general. I'm just kind of rooting for like comedy, I think that would be funny. But that's all I got for this one, guys. Like I said, I'm really not trying to hop on and do a whole big long one. This is honestly the longest Power Rankings episode I've had for a while, and that's what happens when I go live. But y'all can always catch more of what I do at Kyle Phelps 92 on Twitter, Facebook.com/LaPhelps, the Battle of Ohio podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Go check out atbnetwork.com, which is responsible for me being able to do all these streams and everything like that. Pretty much anything I do on StreamYard is entirely as a result of ATB Network, basically supporting my shows. I used to do some writing for them. I think I still have the ability to, but I just don't anymore just because I don't really have time to do writing. But, I'm always going to push them because they they let me use their products and everything. So check them out, atbnetwork.com. And then you can always find more of what I do right here if you subscribe. So that's pretty much all I got. And we got Anime Kid. No, don't see too many big anime fans coming on my channel. But welcome Anime Kid. Welcome Anime Kid. I hope you're enjoying the football content. Good night, Josh Hiller. So I'll leave y'all as always with a hootie. I can click the end broadcast button.